Nate, can you run a game for me and my friend?
Yeah, what did you want to play? Like vampire or some other horror game?
Could we do something more sci-fi, maybe?
Okay, well, I got Shadowrun. We could play that, or we could play Cyberpunk even, or...
I was thinking more like sci-fi and space.
Okay, what about,
Damn it, just run Star Trek for me.
Welcome back to 2D10. Today, I boldly go way outside my comfort zone and add a new game to my arsenal. In this episode, I review the Star Trek Adventures Starter Set. It's crucial to know that I'm not a Trekkie. I've watched about a dozen episodes of Star Trek across the different television series. I've also seen about 3 Star Trek movies, mainly in the 80s when I was a kid, and any other content I've consumed in the past 5 years was primarily due to my wife. The last admission, this box has been sitting on my shelf since 2019, along with this book, and I've never bothered to crack it. I never gave Star Trek Adventures by Modiphius much thought. I mean, the products look good, but whatever. So do plenty of the other games I also never play. But this game has been sitting on my shelf, along with this big box, quietly taunting me. What with its drive for exploration and rich, decades-old history? And since I'm as wet behind the ears as any new player, I'm the perfect game master to crack this puppy open. The Star Trek Adventures Starter Set includes everything you need to play immediately. There's a starter rules booklet with an overview of Modiphius' 2D20 system as used in Star Trek Adventures. A campaign booklet is included with 3 connected missions. These missions introduce the game rules as the play unfolds, keeping gameplay as simple as possible. The missions provide several hours worth of gameplay, not just a single session's worth, i.e., a campaign. Presented much like a typical Star Trek episode, each part of the campaign, or each chapter of the story, starts with the captain's log to set the stage for the voyage ahead. In addition, there are blocks of pre-generated narrative text at various points throughout the 3 adventures to guide the players and the GM through the scenarios. There are 5 pre-generated characters complete with rules references on the back of each sheet. One unique aspect of Star Trek Adventures is the inclusion of the Starship. Essentially, the ship itself acts as a character of sorts, aiding and assisting the players, as well as, flying through space and exploring the far reaches of the universe. There's more to it than that, but it's relatively simple, especially considering how complex similar sci-fi games can be. There are tokens for use during play for momentum, threat, and to represent the player characters, enemies, and important NPCs. They're highly detailed and solid quality cardboard chits that will work great for future sessions beyond the beginning campaign. Technically, there are 6 play maps included for use during the various action sequences of the campaign. These are printed on 2 full-color foldouts with graphics on both sides. Finally, there's a set of dice included, some of which are unique to the game, 2 D20s and 4 custom D6s, each engraved with the Starfleet logo and little explosions. I've also purchased a digital version of the Star Trek Adventures Starter Set from DriveThruRPG. The digital version includes everything contained in the physical box, not including dice, and printer-friendly versions of the whole kit. The print and play PDFs are $9.99. I've included an affiliate link in the description of this video if you want to buy it. Beginning my review with the starter rules, the booklet is well designed and beautifully illustrated as you'd expect from a major game studio. In addition, the rules are presented logically and simply without being overly wordy. Having read through the core rulebook afterward, I'd say the starter pamphlet offers a consistent experience with the entire game. I only mention this because some beginner boxes, I won't mention by name, fail to prepare your table for play beyond the included material. Some of those very same sets are poorly laid out, leading to stalled gameplay and a lot of this stuff. If you're unfamiliar with the Star Trek Adventures version of the 2D20 system, here's a quick summary on how it works. Your character has a set of attributes that range from 7 to 12. These attributes represent the character's mental and physical competencies. They also have 6 disciplines representing their training in Starfleet. Anytime your character does something where the result is uncertain, like climb a tree or repair a warp drive or pilot a ship, they perform a task. The Game Master chooses an attribute and discipline to represent the given task. For instance, a Starfleet captain attempting to inspire their crew before a perilous battle might use the presence attribute and the command discipline. The player then adds up those 2 numbers to determine their target number. For example, our first officer included in the set has a presence of 11 and a command of 5. This makes his target number 16, meaning the player's roll must be equal to or lower than the target number to generate a success. Characters also have several focuses, which are more specialized knowledge or experiences that are applied to any relevant task. These focuses help characters generate additional successes when it's time to roll the dice. The GM assigns a difficulty for the task, generally between 0 and 5. Any d20 that hits the target number or below is considered a single success. If the focus was relevant to the roll, any die rolled equal to or less than the discipline used scores 2 successes. Each dice that rolls a 1 is considered 2 successes as well. A natural 20 creates a complication, which is, not good. If the number of successes rolled meets or exceeds the difficulty assigned by the Game Master, then the task is completed successfully. In addition to those very basic rules, there are several different ways to enhance and complicate the Star Trek adventure system, including assistance from other players, momentum, a type of player-generated resource used to complete tasks, threat, the Game Master equivalent to momentum, used to increase the danger, alter scenes, empower NPCs, and a bunch of other stuff. Okay, hold on, I must interject here. What is this nonsensical crap? The 2d20 system it's baby food. It's gimmicky garbage. I can rationalize any roll if I'm convincing enough. Even if I fail a roll, I can just succeed at a cost. What is the point of power gaming if I can just succeed and suffer a complication? Why even play a game that lets me win no matter what? You are aware that RPGs aren't poker, right? You play a role in a story that's collaboratively created by everyone at the table. Did you not know this? A story, right. And television programming isn't just the mindless dreck created to keep you watching commercials. Give me a break. Role-playing is just the brain candy that tricks you into buying more dice, minis, and special edition box sets. Wake up, you pleb. Oh, so this is why you have no friends. I get it now. Laugh it up, review ha boy. Even you must admit that a game system that allows you to basically always succeed is more than a little infantile. No, I don't. The Star Trek Adventures rule set is a dynamic system that gives both the players and the Game Master exciting ways to accomplish tasks or ramp up the danger without throwing impossible obstacles in front of the protagonists. Also, the health system can be pretty damn lethal when you get down to it. No, the player can opt to dive out of the way to avoid an injury even after they've been technically injured. Should we give them a diaper for their bum-bums too? Dude, do you just want player characters to die or something? What's your deal? Yes, no, shut up. You should all have to spend hours making characters with complex mathematical equations, poring over thousands of glossy pages to unearth the correct combination of powers, points, and meaningless drawbacks. Meanwhile, you arbitrarily roll handfuls of stat-generating dice, hoping that luck and the law of averages are in your favor. Finally, you memorize paragraphs of senseless rules, jargon, and terminology to twist unintended technicalities to your favor. And when you think you're ready, your most incredible fantasy creation is torn to bits by a giant sentient slug wearing full-body power armor 15 minutes after the game starts. After a quick read through the rules, I moved on to the starter campaign, A Star Beyond the Stars. Designed to introduce the rules to new players and game masters, A Star Beyond the Stars assumes no previous experience with tabletop games. The starter campaign is designed so that you should be ready to create your own adventures with the main core rulebook by the time you complete it. As the story unfolds, the Game Master leads the players through the first mission while introducing the game rules progressively. In Part 1 of the campaign, the player characters are sent to recover an experimental, lost ship in the outer recesses of Federation space. Communication with the vessel failed during tests of a new type of warp drive. Now the players must recover the ship and determine what went wrong, while unable to depend on their sensors and communication technology. Part 2 explores an alien mystery revealed at the conclusion of the previous story. Again, the players receive new orders, sending them to investigate a Klingon space station. Much like the first part of the campaign, new game mechanics are progressively presented for the GM to implement during play. Part 3 concludes the story, pitting players against the alien conspiracy uncovered in the previous 2 chapters. They'll face tough moral choices that may have consequences on the future of the entire galaxy. The conclusion is thrilling and fast-paced, and introduces Starship combat, an essential part of the game, to the campaign as well. In the end, many questions are left unanswered, intentionally, to provide your group with loads of story threads to continue the campaign beyond the starter set. So, what do I think of the Star Trek Adventures starter set? Well, all things considered, I really enjoyed it. While the stories and missions are incredibly linear, which I usually think is a negative, I've got to acknowledge what this kit is for. Beginners. When I sat down to run this for my friends, a beginner is precisely what I was with this game and the setting. No matter how many tabletop games I've ran before, I wasn't familiar with this rule set, nor was I ready to write my own complex Star Trek episode. If you have no experience as a game master or no experience with Star Trek Adventures, this starter set is tailored to you every step of the way. It's packed with simple, easy to understand concepts, scenes, and references that are easy to track. Beyond that, the rules for the game are intuitive and relatively easy to remember on their own. As a result, Star Trek Adventures lends itself to cinematic, action-packed gameplay as quickly as it does deep roleplay. While I'm a Star Trek novice, the game seems to respect the universe's generations of lore and complexity without being intimidating or inaccessible. The campaign, as I said, is linear, with each scene leading into another with microscopic derivation. While the story is not especially groundbreaking, that's not necessarily a negative in this case. After all, it's remarkably easy for new game masters to get derailed when they run a game for the first time, especially if it's overly complex. The additional material included in the box, like the dice, tokens, and maps, is high quality in detail and construction. Genuine care seems to have been taken to produce a coherent and consistent product that novice and veteran gamers and anyone in between can enjoy. I'd give this starter set a solid A. My only real complaint is the black background of the printed material, which makes my elderly eyes hurt, but apparently that's a problem unique to me. While it does not provide character creation rules, you do get 5 fully detailed characters to choose from and a ship to pilot. In addition, the cinematic momentum and threat rules make for dynamic and dangerous gameplay without overly complex systems you might find in other sci-fi games. Nevertheless, for $28, the Star Trek Adventures starter set is a great entry point to the Star Trek Adventures universe and role-playing games in general. I recommend the Star Trek Adventures starter set for any fan of Star Trek or science fiction, or anyone looking to get into role-playing games for the first time. Have you ever played Star Trek Adventures? If so, what has your experience been? Do you like the 2d20 dice system? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think I should review next? If you'd like to help me expand my game review library, check out my Patreon or pick up a copy of my Vampire the Masquerade sourcebook on Storyteller's Vault, called The Book of Places. Links to both are in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm just doing some writing right now. What was the question?
Will you run a game for me and my friends?
You like Shadowrun or Cyberpunk or... There is a dog literally just below my feet. With 3 connected missions. These missions introduce the with the captain's log to set the Presented much like... No, I don't. The Star Trek Adventure rules... No, I don't. The Star Trek Adventures rule set is a dynamic system that gives both the players and game master exciting ways... Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper. Live long. Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper. Live Star Trek. Live long and prosper. What? And